I thought I knew the richest guy in town. And then today I found out that wasn't true. So I do a lot of loans in major cities. One of the cities I do a lot of loans in is the DC area. And I've met some people that make a ton of money. I'm talking attorneys, lobbyists, attorneys slash lobbyists, self-employed people, and international money, money that comes from other parts of the world where they just have like so much, it's ridiculous. But there's a suburb of DC where the houses that sell there are probably between 350 and 600 is the range they sell. And I have a buddy that lives there. So 25 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, he told me he was going to purchase some homes. And I was like, okay. And then maybe 5, 6 years into it, he owned about 10 homes. And I was like, he's kind of doing what he said he was. And now he owns maybe about 50 homes. And I'm going to say that 95% of them are paid off. Collects rent on all these homes. And he still continues to buy homes, but he's got a lot of properties, a lot of equity in these properties, and a lot of cash flow. And I have this joke with him because I always would say to him, in the area that you live, you're like the richest guy, but nobody knows it because you live in this very average home. And he drives an SUV truck, a nice one, probably 12, 13 years old. It's got a lot of room, but it's well worn because he's obviously spent a lot of time. He's done a lot. He's probably worked a lot from that SUV. But that was the joke. He's the richest guy in that town. And then today I am dealing with a buyer and I'm dealing with a seller and I'm dealing with a listing agent. And the listing agent says to me that, the seller is looking to liquidate their properties and maybe I can help in that process. And I was like, okay, I can help. I'm not thinking much of it. But then he tells me that the guy owns about 80 properties, maybe a little more than that, he says. I was like, wait a minute. He owns 80 properties. So I'm real familiar with this DC area in terms of people that own a lot of properties. I've been around a minute. And I'm like, what's this guy's name? And she gives me the name. And I've never heard of this guy. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, where does he live? And she tells me he lives in the same area that my buddy lives. And I just start to laugh because my buddy, who I always make fun of for being the richest guy in that town, is clearly not that. There's another guy that maybe owns 30 to 40 more properties that he does, lives in the same type of house. I'm betting drives the same type of car. And he's about to cash out about 80 properties. I'm going to say on average, maybe worth $500,000 each. That's the richest guy in that town.